The Primarchs are primarily magic beings given bodies capable of handling their godlike power by their technical father, the Emperor of Mankind, one of the 40k universe's oldest superpowered humans. These Primarchs were sent out into the universe by either their mother, who was a scientist or a tube, depending on headcanon, or the Dark Gods out of spite for the Emperor, or their own plans, again depending on headcanon. Each one landed on a different planet with a different cool literary theme. El'Jonson is like steampunk King Arthur if he had the strategic mind, lack of social skills, and tendency for secret keeping of Batman. Landing on the English and Celtic-inspired world of Caliban, Johnson is the lord of the First Legion of Space Marines, known as the equally secretive Dark Angels. The 2nd and 11th Primarchs are meant to be left blank and were stricken from history, as well as the memories of the Primarchs, but not the Space Marines made from them before the betrayal of the Primarch Horus in what would later be known as the Horus Heresy. Your fanfiction goes here, build your own Primarch. Fulgrim is one of 2 Primarchs with a Roman theme to him, but purple and gold rather than red. Landing on an industrial world, he soon rose to prominence and developed an obsession with improving culture and art, as well as standard of living. When he finally met his father, he would develop his main trait of perfection obsession. He would eventually become possessed by a chaos demon and betray the Emperor, killing his brother, the Primarch Ferrus. The 3rd Legion is called the Emperor's Children. They play very good music. Perturabo, landing on the Greek-themed planet of Olympia, every time he looked up at the sky, he sees something far off in space with his superhuman vision that only he can see, which is most likely magic or chaos related. He is characterized by his mastery of siege warfare, never having wanted to go to war, and his Richard Nixon-like paranoia that everyone is out to undermine or get him. He also betrayed the Emperor. The 4th Legion is called the Iron Warriors. Jaghatai Khan is basically Genghis Khan. He has a need for speed and philosophy of the happy warrior. He likes freedom, and his legion is called the White Scars, after the white scars they all drew on themselves to symbolize their new lives under the Khan. They also have motorcycles. Demon Russ is a Norse Viking archetype, but with fangs. On the ice-cold Scandinavian-themed world of Fenris, his legion, the Space Wolves, was founded. His gene seed flaw, the Canis Helix, sometimes turns his men into literal werewolves called Wolfen. He also likes freedom and is known as the Emperor's Executioner. Rogal Dorn is like the archenemy of Perturabo, known as the Praetorian of Earth. He is the master of defensive structures. Growing up on the Inuit-inspired culture of the planet Inuit, he soon took over the planet through being a great aid in military conquering and embracing the culture's love of hard work. His legion is known as the Imperial Fists. Konrad Curze landed on Space Gotham City, called Nostromo, and became a version of the Punisher that was also the Joker. When he touches people, he can see their assumed fate or how they are most likely to die. He allowed this power to define him and, like the Joker, is constantly trying to prove that everyone is just as crazy as him. His legion, the Night Lords, are known for their horrible acts of mutilation and being literal terrorists, using fear as their main weapon through public executions for often very minor crimes. Sanguinius is Jesus if his kids were vampires. Known as a culture appreciator and being one of the 2 most heroic Primarchs, Sanguinius was born with mutant wings that made him look like an angel. By the time he was an adult, he was worshipped like a god. He sacrificed his life to protect his father from Horus and still lives on today, possibly through the Sanguinor, a ghost version of himself that helps his legion, the Blood Angels, whenever they are in dire need. The Blood Angels drink blood because of their gene seed flaw, space vamps. Ferrus Manus is known as one of the 2 biggest Primarchs next to his brother Vulkan, and once fought a metal space dragon, plunging it into a volcano, giving him cool Colossus Wolverine metal arms. He is called the Gorgon for his ugly appearance. His feats of strength and blacksmithing due to his magic hands are unmatched by any of his brothers. His brother Fulgrim would decapitate him while juiced up on demon power. His legion, the Iron Hands, went completely insane from this and started amputating their body parts, making them oftentimes just full-on cyborgs. Angron is the most tragic boy. While he initially had powers like being a living painkiller for other people, he instead landed on a gladiator world that would put a device in his head called the Butcher's Nails that would cause him immense pain if he was not killing something. He would terrorize his own legion, the World Eaters, until eventually ascending to demonhood like other traitor Primarchs. He is abuse incarnate, think a demonic Hulk mixed with an evil Spartacus. Roboute Guilliman is Space Caesar Captain America and has his own mini-empire called Ultramar. The 500 Worlds of Ultramar Ultramar are obviously a direct parallel to the 50 United States of America. He is defined by his love of taxes and filing forms, as well as writing the Codex Astartes, which is like the art of war for space marines, and being very down to earth. He wanted his legion, the Ultramarines, to integrate back into society once their work was no longer needed and become civil leaders. Mortarion grew up on a planet of necromancers and disease called Barbarous. He was pseudo-adopted by a Nietzschean necromancer that assumedly genuinely wanted Morty to eventually kill him and take his place. Before Morty could do this and lead his forces against the necromancer, his real dad showed up and killed him first. He did not take this well and would go on to hate his brothers and father while instilling his grudge-having nature into his legion, the Death Guard. He would eventually turn traitor as well. Magnus the Red was a sorcerer who landed on a Middle Eastern-themed planet of sorcerers who liked experimenting and learning about sorcery. Magnus the Red has a lot of references to King Solomon built into him, but unfortunately these demons were not a metaphor for living a healthier life like in the Lesser Key of Solomon, but instead real demons, and over time tricked him into becoming yet another demon Primarch. Likes Egypt, hates werewolves. His legion is called the Thousand Sons. Horus Lupercal is basically a dark reflection of the Emperor's original dream of a secular empire, originally believing that his father had a conspiracy to be worshipped like a god due to a vision from chaos. He thought of chaos like a scientific force to be controlled, when again, like Magnus, not understanding they were real demons. He had the most time with the Emperor during his childhood, and while his legion has gone through many changes, it is now known after his death at the hands of his father as the Black Legion. Lorgar landed on a planet called Culchus, which was effectively a world of imams, priests, and rabbis if they all worshiped the dark gods of chaos, and a single day lasted for a week. This deeply religious culture, mixed with his visions and job of being a literal preacher, made him view the Emperor as a god, which he was punished for, and due to his already fragile emotional state, pushed him towards the powers of chaos. If you want your Chaos Space Marines to be more religious and less Nietzschean, then his legion, the Word Bearers, is for you. Vulkan landed on the planet of Nocturne, defined by volcanic activity, black people, and blacksmithing. His foster father, like Guilliman, was a very nice man and acted as his Jonathan Kent. He hates space elves due to them raping and torturing many of his people to death, and his legion, the Salamanders, are known for both their excessive use of fire and their more humanitarian streak, often focusing more on protection of civilian life than their own. Corvus Corax landed on a slave mining world, where he very quickly rose to power and led a rebellion to protect and provide for the people of that world. His natural power to turn invisible and brooding demeanor is manifested in his legion, the Raven Guard, who themselves also have a propensity for stealth, also being defined by their gene seed flaw of extreme albinism. He is like Batman Captain America, with a little bit of the Crow in there as well. Lastly, firstly, and also me, it's the Master of Disguise, known as Alpharius. He and Omegon were twin Primarchs landing on different worlds, while each one specialized in a different form of social deception. Alpharius seemingly was the spy hiding in plain sight, and Omegon liked taking very public roles, though that could have been the other way around. However, this is very unclear, as he is kept purposely vague. His legion is known for all taking the name of Alpharius, and it is heavily debated as whether or not he betrayed the Emperor, because no one knows his or their true motives for anything I am Alpharius. Which Primarch sounds like your favorite? Tell me why in the comments below. Grimdark. Half off!